Stay with me. Kisseih Antonio, what's your story? At least now you have 2 weeks.
Yes. Just like with the Insurance Association, we engaged severally with our regulator and met the Minister of Finance and his team a few times. And we had 6 specific requests.
Okay.
Top of the list was we exempt collective investment scheme.
Absolutely.
Which was included even before
Yes.
the individual bonds.
Yes.
No, but the minister was almost taking it out. You remember? There were engagements.
So we wanted the CISs exempted. We thought more bonds should be issued because don't forget that initially there were 4 bonds which are maturing, I think,
2027.
2032, whatever you. And, they had the same characteristics, same interest rates, even though they had different tenors. In finance, once you have a longer tenor, longer interest rates to compensate for the risk of holding out longer. We also thought it was important to have a yield curve, because that will enhance the tradability
Reduce it.
What does that mean?
and liquidity of the
curve?
fund. And then, of course, we're not down with the 0 coupon. And initially, no accrued interests were to be paid, prior to the settlement date. And obviously,
So now that we have the 2%.
well, that's it's been described as a cash tender fee, right? Something to that effect. And then we wanted Esla and Dachi exempted. He harped on
For good
it.
reason.
For good reason, yes. The structures are still there,
not impaired.
and most importantly, they have collective action clauses.
Yes.
You can't amend or collapse that structure without having, the approval of 75% of bondholders. So, and obviously, if you collapse that structure, securitization will be dead. Not too long ago, we were talking about Japa.
Yeah.
We were looking to securitize mineral royalties. In more developed markets, you securitize, receivables from like infrastructure projects and stuff. So, a nascent or embryonic, securitization market will virtually be dead on arrival. To be fair to the ministry, 3 of our asks were granted. Obviously we have 12 bonds now. We have the yield curve. Senor doesn't want to hear that. And accrued interest, has been included.
Yeah, capital.
But CISs were not exempt. You understand? And currently we have issues with the commercial terms of the bonds assets. Because based on our modeling, even the returns on this one, even though it's marginal, is actually less than what was initially offered.
I see. So
it's just a few basis points, but
it's worse than before, you mean?
Yes, and you see, let's put things in their proper perspective. You see, the central banks, medium term, their main objective is to combat inflation.
Inflation targeting.
It's inflation targeting, and the target is they're looking at 8 plus or minus 2%. If you're getting a return of about 8%, that means there's the possibility that you could be making negative real returns going forward.
It's not a possibility, that's the fact.
Oh, going forward, immediately, yes. Making negative real returns.
Yeah.
So for us, those were the things we asked for. And just like the Insurance Association, last week we wrote requesting, we requested for a 2-week extension. You see, unlike the insurance industry or the banks, we manage client funds, right? So we don't have what we call a proprietary position on our books.
Apart from your shareholders' funds.
Yes, it's apart. So these are, segregated mandates. So, we took the decision as an association that, look, we are not happy with the terms being offered, but engage your clients. You understand? Tell them what the potential consequences of signing, accepting the program in its present form, or rejecting it. and let them make a decision. But we were still going to continue engagements. And even in our letter, we said that if investors were to basically decide to subscribe to the exchange, any other offer, any other better terms, which will be extended to any other investor grouping, should be extended to those clients as well. So in all that's our story. We now have 2 weeks. The Ministry of Finance has talked about engaging, and this time we hope there is going to be the proper stakeholder engagement.
You don't think you've had that proper stakeholder engagement?
You see,
in this proper definition.
They went to meet their headmaster.
you see, look, the way it is seen or perceived now, it's more like an imposition.
That is the thing.
You know, so in position, you go meet, you have audience, you talk, you leave, you have a further meeting, a memoranda is circulated, you know, but let us sit down, and just like my brother here did, you know, let's have a frank, open, transparent
Conversation.
dialogue. You understand? Let us show what the numbers are. You know, look, it shouldn't be that, you know, the crime we've done is to lend money to
To trust your government.
You understand?
And to trust your central bank, who said that there's no risk.
Let's have that open conversation so that we can all be on the same page. Let's jaw. Let's go. And I think that is what should happen within the 2 weeks. Let's take us to
Essentially,
Adan, wherever. Let's sit down 3, 4, 5 days.
We don't have money. That one, I don't agree. We'll sit at conference center.
Wherever
Then
it is. You know,
Yeah.
and let's come to agreement. Those are that's the way I see it, the only viable way for us to come to some sort of consensus. The way it is going now, my biggest fear is that there will be some stalemate or logjam.
Even with the 2 weeks now that you have.
Well, if there's no proper engagement, that's what is going to happen.
And
But as an association and as an industry, we're also cognizant of the fact that we are between a rock and a hard place. You know, the economy is at a precipice, you know, where it could go into total meltdown. And we will not want that to happen. So I think it's important that we have these engagements quickly so that we can get to some sort of consensus. But I agree that individual bondholders should be exempted, and I
CIS.
totally agree that our CIS investors.
And let's clarify, those you represent, your clients,
Yeah.
are those who put in 100 CDs,
Oh,
500 CDs.
Exactly.
Oh.
And you
150
see, even the
CDs.
bonds is middle class.
No, but I mean, we are coming.
Like Sandra and
Antonio,
Co. But these
Antonio.
are the artisans,
Yeah, artisan,
taxi
yeah.
drivers.
And they are but they are part
The
of
cocoa
us.
seller by the street
They are part of the
wants
people we
the kids
represent.
to go
Yeah.
to school,
Yeah.
you know, and some of the
who
stories,
finishes daily sales
Market
and brings you
woman.
500 CDs.
some of the stories we hear are extremely harrowing. You understand? So I mean, look, it's important. I think it's the right thing to do, and it's important.
Exempt these individual
Yes.
bondholders,
Yes.
if you
And
broadly
as,
define it.
Yes,
The
yes.
CEO of the
Dr.
GIA
Palmerson, yeah.
said, you know, it's also important. I mean, let's talk about this financial stability fund. We still don't know how it's going to be administered.
But it's been more than a month since that was
So it's
put in the...
important. We need to know.
And you still
that's
don't
why
know. In
it's
all the engagements
important
you've had, did nobody
to have this-
broke it down for you?
No, we've spoken about it, and we've requested that it's important that it's shared how this fund is going to be
They haven't done so.
administered. Well, I'm here to... I know that, you know, there are some parties who are supposed to bring monies in, but if, you know, a CIS needs liquidity. I mean, I've been here a few times, I think maybe 3 or so times, you know, where we're talking about the challenges which have bedeviled our CISs in terms of liquidity, you know. But it's important that we know how this is administered, who qualifies, who does not qualify, you know, what the terms of money being extended to
drawdown
you
process.
from this fund is. So I think there's a lot to do within this 2 weeks period.
Okay.
And the longer this thing gets drawn out, then the exchange, this proposed debt exchange starts losing all credibility.